I saw this post the other day and it's brought up a lot of feelings around why we gain so much value from working on ourselves and working together in relationships in order to help the betterment and the training of the next generation. The post was, those who avoid their own feelings will likely avoid yours too. But then it got me thinking about a lot of the womb healing that I've done. And I just put out a little video about the Triple Goddess Well and the sort of journey that I've been on to heal my womb, and the sort of the working with the archetypes of the maiden, mother and crone. And I think one of the main things that's coming up is that whatever we train ourselves to do now, whether that's let go of pride and ego and say sorry and be mindful with what we put in our minds, bodies and souls, like overall consumption, energetic consumption, we're passing that on. We're passing that on to the next generation. And I think, having sort of mentioned before in previous videos, some people 1, 2, 2, some people 1, 2, 3, some people might 1, 2, 3 go. I don't know why they keep, it's all very weird competitive energy at the minute. Sorry, that's a sidetrack. With letting our ego and pride go, it's about the harmony that we can create within relationships, which also sets the tone for our internal, like, energetic system, our womb, our sacred areas, our ovaries, and for men, sperm. Everything that we're nourishing ourselves with now gets stored in our cells and our bodies. And obviously that becomes part of our sexual organs as well. And so in order to pass on stronger, more self-aware, self-loving values and energy, that's something that we have to work on in our generation, because it is natural. I think, again, I've spoken about it before, it's like that the next generation would be stronger than the one that's come before us in an ideal world, or the way that things have gone. Perhaps up until now that might be shifting, because without this sort of self-realization, without this training and discipline, and again, I'm not a purist, things do change as we evolve, and I've dropped certain naughty things, and I'm flexible with other things, and people will judge and think that I'm doing things in a certain way, which I know we're humans and there is a level of judgment, but I don't seek to compare my life to anybody. You know, my portion of food compared to somebody else's might look 3 times bigger, but then I fast most of the week, or fast whole the day. I fast for a lot of the day, so and not every day. So it's so irrelevant to stop comparing ourselves and what we eat to each other. It's the part of this self-mastery of looking in, knowing our bodies, and not masking our mood with comfort eating and sugar and various other forms of comfort food, and news, and again, other energetic consumption, because it dims what we feel inside and how we can actually sit with uncomfortable emotions and work through them and start to heal them, so that they don't rear their head in any way that they may have reared their head before. I'm newly woken up, so sorry if there's a few things going on in this message, but I think in terms of relationships with others, that obviously comes from relationship to self. And when we are less judgmental and harsh and critical of our own being, we become that less judgmental of the other. And when we go through hardships and we learn what is essential and what is luxury, we start to flow and move and make choices differently for ourselves, because the goal is to stay alive. Anyone that knows about spiritual warfare will know what I'm talking about compared to other people. So, I mean, I use the word compared, but Some people have gone through some horrendous things over the years in the spirit, and I can relate to that now because I've also experienced spiritual warfare. So having overcome that, I've learned a lot of things about self, ever learning, we all are. And what I like about sharing and not comparing is we share the ways in which spirit moves through each of us. And this is with positive intention, how we work with energy, we work with spirit, because a lot of us have clairaudience over clairvoyance. I mean, once one of the clairs is activated, a lot of them do start to come. And if we know that we've got an active dreamscape, I would encourage people to start to look deeper into the spirit, because if you do have a very active dream state, that's not just a coincidence. There's other things spiritually there to be tapped into, which might lead to the betterment of your physical and mental health, of our physical and mental health. But with this connection to self, then obviously our relationships with others change. And I think when we are able to say, I'm sorry, when we're parents, being able to say we're sorry is so important, and not having an issue with that or fighting with ourselves to say sorry or to be mindful or to let pride and ego go, because how are we meant to raise children in a world if we can't be soft and gentle at times? Obviously there has to be firm direction and leadership led with a lion heart, a fully activated heart chakra, but being unable to pass on that knowledge would be a real shame, I think. And when we do the work internally, we are changed, especially if we work with psilocybin. And me personally, not with other people, but me personally, I haven't for a long time. I get called into ceremony. It's never anything that I've abused, despite what people might have thought that I've been through over the past couple of years. I've never abused anything. I was going through spiritual warfare and things that were sent to me externally by others trying to control my life. But now, having moved past that and activated ancestral power when I visited Ireland and various other things, and just help from my soul family around the globe and the motherland especially, I feel like, I don't know if that stops. I'm on low battery. Coming into that awareness of the spiritual realm, and how we can work with spirit to better our physical and mental health. Our DNA changes, our cells change, they upgrade. And so isn't that something important that we need to look at before we bring life into the world? This is just my take on it, and I guess, we can't predict the future. We can only, as seers, I guess, know what we see and see what happens with free will and the world. But I think supporting the youth now at a time where the energy is so intense, and them not having lived, a lot of them are old souls, but a lot of them are also new souls, and maybe have not navigated the physical realm in the ways that we have, and are lost. Some are so lost. I don't claim that for myself anymore, because I'm not. I've found my purpose. But if the elders are lost, how do the youth know where to place their energy and their hopes and their dreams? And obviously all the activations can come through just simple observation of what society is saying and how things are unfolding now. But I don't know. I think that lack of community and tribe and knowledge of self over the generations has really affected where we're at right now. And I got a message from a young brother the other day that really made me emotional. Just knowing what everyone's going through right now. And it's so important that we just stop comparing and that we focus on our own inner healing, because nothing else matters. Like, that is our personal legacy. coming together in full union of the divine masculine, divine feminine in self, and the healing of ourselves then radiates outward, and we can come together as stronger members of community, tribe, soul, fam, however we refer to things now, because I know some people have issues with us using the word tribe, but whatever, I'm using it in a way that I respect the ways that communities used to live. And I'm not saying there hasn't been positive outcome to certain evolution of the species, but I literally feel like I'm going through an upgrade right now as I talk, so don't really know what's going on. But to circle around again, because the spiral path is clearly showing how this is a spiral message, is that the more that we lean into all the uncomfortable things of like not being able to say sorry, not being able to admit where we have acted without loving intention, is the only way that we can raise conscious children, I believe. And I'm so proud of so many of the men and the women at my age, peer age, between 30 and 40, that are doing the conscious work, because we are assuming the role, and this is not to negate anyone elder, because there are also, I know elders that are doing the work, but we are assuming the roles of elders now, and we all need each other. We all have different roles to play, whether that's in the physical or online. I mean, this is a platform that I've been told to speak on 1144 on the clock. I don't really know why, and obviously this might seem a bit gobbledygook to people, but I am somebody who's going through a continual awakening, and I've been asked, and like Josh Maponga, who is I believe he's from Zim, but is an ex-pastor who is going through his own spirituality, like spiritual awakening now, and sort of moving away from the sort of Christian church and beliefs that he was once he's indoctrinated with. Is he said something, and where was it? Let me see if I can find the quote. Oh yeah, he said something like, while I'm learning, I've made my life a public theatre. And I just thought, wow, that is literally what I've been guided to do. Is I came on the very first video out of spiritual warfare that was sent to me and my family, and have been on this public journey of learning without fear of what anybody thinks of me, because I know that I'm not the only person that's going through this now. And I'm so happy that this public forum has led me to people who are also willing and vulnerable and so strong and pure of heart to share their stories with me off camera. Because like Josh Maponga, and people may or may not know him, and he's been called crazy, and he's been moving and living in caves and various things, which is something that I respect, because at the minute, I totally get what we need sometimes, which is to be completely away from human civilization in order to connect with self, so that we can hear, because some of us hear so much as clairaudience. And I'm not saying he said he's a clairaudient, but as a spiritualist, I guess he's connected in many ways to the collective shifts, and to spirituality, and to spirit, divine spirit. Oh my God, so much clearing. Anyway, while I'm learning, I've made my life a public theatre. So yeah, that resonated with me. As somebody who's going through this awakening, and sharing my story, I believe, has been in support of the healing of the nations. And I want to be here for the youth. I think it's important that we find purpose collectively and together. But first, that means we need to look in the mirror, and we need to look at self, and we need to look at why legacy has potentially been lost, and what we want to be leaving on the world. And I don't just mean children physical, but the lessons, the knowledge, the wisdom. What 1444 on the clock? Why do we do anything? What's the intention? Because it's all energy, and this lives on forever. And I believe that will be part of the healing of humanity and healing of the nations. I'm not saying I know where things are going exactly and that we can save or redeem humanity in the ways that we need to. But it's a start. And we have to start with ourselves, and we have to be able to say sorry in relationships, and we have to be able to bow our head and know when to shut up and pick our battles, because we've all got our own set of wounding and battles that we've fought that we may never ever share, not even with our nearest and dearest, and that's okay. Spirit, the divine, however we connect with a greater source, sees everything. Everything is recorded in the Akashic records, I believe. And it's time that we rise up in a peaceful, harmonious way, because we've done the work on self, because we know we can yield strength and power of armies that are leading us ancestrally in the spirit behind us. But we decide and we choose when to unleash that power. Day to day we move through with peace, harmony and integrity, because that is the energy that we need to increase on the realm, not violence. So with us collectively finding more peace, harmony and purpose, the discord and disharmony naturally falls away, because we start to realise that why would we want to hurt somebody else? It doesn't make sense. If we value ourselves, if we value our life, if we value the legacy that we leave on the planet, the legacy that our ancestors have left, why would we want to hurt another? And then this also comes back to the fact that not everybody does have a soul on the realm. It's not possible with what's going on. And so as spiritual knowledge and wisdom and our collective learning and empowerment and revelations and upgrades continue, I trust that we who need to find each other through these platforms, because it's, I share, I don't know who's watching. I mean, obviously I know there's a few creepsters, so hey, 1717. But I also know that there are people who are doing the work alongside me and share their stories offline, and it keeps me going, because, as I've said before, it's not always easy, or it's not what I initially chose to do. I get messages from my guides and certain energies around me, depending on where I'm moving in the UK at the moment and further afield, as to what I need to be sharing and why I need to be sharing it. And I recently found out about a group of men called Street Fathers in the UK who are supporting the youth, mostly I believe in South London, but I assume they are all over, because their conscious souls and inputting a stronger sense of divine masculine energy into the collective, which means that the masculine empowerment can start to be felt and healed and reignited with true purpose and passion, and not misguided anger and violence. Because wherever we find ourselves, even if it's in grim situations, there are reasons we're alive right now. And it only takes one step every day to pull ourselves out of shit situations, whether that is in the spirit, in the physical and the mental. And we can do that ourselves with the support of tribe, community and people around us. And we need to know not to continually give our power away to people, places and toxic things that come in the form of any type of consumption, and, eating, watching, reading, and who we are around. So I didn't know that was going to be that long, 1919. So please believe that the ancestors are alongside us.